Badminton training has become way too complicated. There are hundreds of drills, workouts, exercises, and pieces of equipment that players are told they need. But which ones actually make you better on court? And which ones just make you feel productive? Because those are not the same thing. And me, I spent years training harder, adding more drills, tracking everything, and believing that more work would automatically create better results in the future. But I can tell you it didn't. And a lot of it just made me tired, frustrated, and eventually injured. So today I'm ranking 16 popular badminton training methods from S tier, the methods I would prioritize if I wanted to improve as fast and as quickly as possible to the professional level, and all the way down to F tier, the methods that are mostly wasting your time. We're starting with the one that badminton players absolutely love. Agility ladders look great on Instagram. Your feet are moving so fast and your coach is maybe shouting and everything feels so athletic. But the problem is that the ladder already tells you exactly where to move. There's no shuttle, there's no opponent. It's like you're just memorizing a dance, a foot pattern. And there's no real change of direction that you would need in badminton. And now for a complete beginner, ladders can help with coordination and rhythm, but once you already know how to control your feet, they're not really going to unlock any badminton speed or improve it. They can be fine as a part of a warm-up, but true, real badminton speed comes from reading the shuttle, exploding in the correct direction, recovering for the next shot, and actual power. So agility ladders are going in D tier. Useful for warming up, but it is not useful enough to be a serious speed method. Next up, strength training. Now, this one is going to divide a lot of people. So badminton players think lifting weights automatically makes you slow, and other players train like powerlifters and wonder why their badminton is so dead on court. The truth is somewhere in the middle. You really need strength, strong calves, tendons. They help you handle repeated lunges and jumps. Strong hamstrings and glutes especially, very important. Strong adductors help you control these changes of directions without any injuries. And upper body strength with core strength balanced, they help you produce a lot of this rotational power. And usually the issue isn't lifting the weights, it's about how you program it. And coaches in badminton, they don't know how to program it. And if your gym training constantly makes you too sore to move properly on the court, the gym is interfering with your badminton. But properly programmed strength training can make you actually so much faster, more durable, and harder to injure. So strength training goes into A tier. And it's definitely not because you have to be a bigger badminton player, but because the strength gives you the speed, the movement, something to work with. Okay, next up, shadow footwork. It's probably one of the first things every badminton player learns. And I'm not against it at all. It's very useful for learning basic movement patterns, helps with rhythm, balance, recovery, technique, but it also has a huge limitation. Because you already know where you are moving. There's no shuttle where to go. There's no really an opponent trying to trick you or try to disguise, make deceptions. So you can be incredibly fast and smooth at moving to the corners, but still be very late in real badminton. That's why I prefer more reactive shadow footwork. Have someone point randomly, or use this application where it will tell you where to go and react to it. Use visual cues, react to audio cues, or watch an opponent on video and try to move based on their shot. That instantly makes it more realistic. So normal shadow footwork goes in B tier. It's good for learning movement, but it's not enough for developing real reactions. Next up, long distance running. Badminton players love running because it feels like fitness. It feels very hard. And yes, running can improve your general aerobic base. If you're completely unfit, some easy running might help. But badminton, is not 45 minutes of continuous slow movement, and especially as the point system is moving from 21 to only 15 points. Badminton is about accelerating, braking, jumping, exploding again. And a long run doesn't really teach your body to tolerate all those aggressive movements, repeated changes of direction. And it definitely doesn't make your first step faster. So long distance running isn't completely useless, but it also shouldn't be the foundation of your badminton conditioning. So I'll put it to C tier. And even Victor Axelsen doesn't do these long runs. He does his aerobic general fitness with a bike, so train it accordingly. Next up, traditional multi-shuttle. The multi-shuttle can be one of the best methods in badminton. You can get a huge number of good quality, speedy repetitions, or you can isolate a technical problem. You can train repeated attacks. You can train your smash power, defensive movement, or pressure, or overspeed, or underspeed. But multi-shuttle can also be very terrible when you're not really feeding it correctly, meaning that the feeder plays this exact same sequence every time. The player knows where the shuttle is going. Then the session continues until a player can barely stand, and people don't really get what type of resting and how many shuttles should you use. Usually, coaches tend to use too many shuttles, and everybody thinks it was an amazing session because the players collapsed afterwards because they were so exhausted. But being exhausted does not prove that the training worked. So, if the players' movement and technique completely fell apart, they're just repeating this low quality badminton. And when you have a good feeder and this good plan, good program of multi-shuttle trainings, it has a very clear purpose. The feeds are realistic or even overspeed. The intensity is so high quality, and the players can maintain the quality. And when it's done properly, multi-shuttle goes in A tier. But I'll tell you one thing: if it would be badly programmed, I would drop the multi-shuttle down to D tier. Next up, bodybuilding only training. Strength training and bodybuilding are not the same thing. Bodybuilding is mainly designed to build muscle size, and badminton training should be designed to improve actual badminton performance. And those goals can sometimes conflict. If your gym program includes huge amounts of slow, high fatigue work, but almost no sprinting, jumping, rotation, braking, or explosive movement, you shouldn't really be surprised when you look stronger than your opponents, but don't move any faster, or don't be surprised when you have more injuries, because badminton only cares how quickly you reach the shuttle. So that goes in F tier. It just makes you slower. And next up, visualization. Visualization can be very useful. You can rehearse your warm-up, your tactical plans. You can visualize yourself doing the correct technique, moving faster, moving like the professionals. You can also visualize how you respond after making a mistake, instead of making a mental mistake of trying to or mentally collapsing. Professional players often look calm because they've already experienced the situation mentally many times. But I tell you, visualization, it's not magic. You cannot visualize for 10 minutes, skip training and suddenly play like Victor Axelsen. I'll tell you, it really improves and reinforces what you're already practicing. So I'll put visualization into B tier. It's very useful as an addition, but it's not strong enough to replace actual training. Next, match analysis. Most players analyze matches like this. Okay, I made too many mistakes. Amazing analysis, very helpful. Not really. I want you to think more which mistakes. From what type of shots did you make before this? Against which shot? What did you choose and why did you choose it? And what should you have done differently. Real match analysis should create a specific action. For example, every time I was late in my deep backhand corner, I played the same weak cross-court shot, and my opponent started waiting for it. And now you have something to actually train. For example, to improve the movement into that corner, so you don't have to take it so late. Then you can practice 2 or 3 realistic shot options from the same position. And that is actual analysis. But watching yourself lose for, let's say, for a full match and feeling bad afterwards, it's not analysis, because that's just like watching yourself lose twice. So proper match analysis, if you do it right, it is A tier, but only when you turn the information into training. Next up, technical repetition drills. Basic repetition is necessary, especially if you're learning a new shot. You need time to understand the movement, the technical aspects, everything. You need clean repetitions, even if you're professionals. Touch. You need to build this control. You need to have a good feeling. You have to play with the shuttle. But players often stay in this stage for way too long. They keep hitting the same shot in very comfortable position with the same feeling. And I don't want you to be very comfortable in this. So once your basic technique is there, I want you to evolve, progress, make it harder, like being in the gym. You will put more weight. So I want you to change the feeding. You might add some movement, add different shot options, use deceptions, add pressure, add uncertainty, play it in just a little bit different way, and eventually you can add this opponent and the technical aspect will transform and go into the real matches. So technical repetition, it's a tool, and to be able to get the tool into matches, you have to have variable practice. So basic technical drills go in B tier. It's very necessary, but just a little bit incomplete. Next up, we have small-sided and conditioned games. This is one of the most important methods in the entire video. It might be half-court singles, front-court only games, rear-court games, small box games, middle-court games, games where one player has to attack, games where you have to earn extra points for winning through a specific pattern. These games are incredible because they target a specific skill without removing the actual game. You still have to react to your opponent. You still have to make decisions. You still have to experience pressure. And you get immediate feedback when your decision fails, because it's a real game to points. And this is where the professional players' instincts, you might have heard me say, they are developed here. You're not really memorizing a sequence. You're actually solving tactical problems, real problems that are in badminton. You're learning timing, anticipation. You are more creative, very important. And you fasten, you train your decision speed. And this type of training is where you can feel the difference immediately. So small-sided games, they go straight into S tier. Every serious badminton player, and right now every professional player, are using them. Next up, static stretching. Stretching is another method people treat like magic. There are all these old school coaches, they stretch every after session. If your muscles feel tight, so you stretch them. If you're worried about injuries, so you should stretch more. If you get injured, they just said you didn't stretch enough. And stretching can actually improve flexibility and range of motion. But if a specific restriction is stopping you from reaching a good lunge position, for example, to the front court, this targeted mobility work can actually help and really help. But stretching alone, it does not prepare you for badminton. It doesn't help you with the skills that actually move the needle on how to become professional. It doesn't build tendon capacity. It doesn't teach your body to absorb force at high speed. It doesn't make your vertical jump higher. Sitting in a stretch, it is not the same as preparing to jump, rotate and lunge aggressively. So stretching goes into D tier. It's useful for specific mobility problems, but it's not even a complete warm-up or a complete injury prevention system like people treat it that it would be. So then, sprints, jumps and change of direction training. If you want to become faster, at some point you need to move fast. That sounds so obvious. But players try everything except actual speed work. They use the ladders. They use all sort of bands, heavy circuits, complicated equipment, these different type of interval trainings. Then they never perform a fresh maximum speed sprints, jumps or maximum speed badminton footworks. Good speed training can be extremely simple and quick. Short sprints, first step accelerations like badminton shadow footwork type of things, jumps, hops, bounce, braking, just changing direction. Then enough rest to repeat the movement with real quality. So if you're doing maximum speed sprints with almost no rest, you are not training maximum speed anymore. You just turned speed training into conditioning, and speed comes from speed. You cannot expect to grow potatoes if you're planting corn. That's why sprints, jumps and proper change of direction go in S tier. Simple, effective, and still so badly programmed by most players. Next, normal match play. Nothing replicates badminton better than badminton. You have a real opponent, real decisions, real consequences, real pressure. You can't really predict what happens, and you have to adapt to all of those. And that makes match play one of the most valuable things you can do. But there's one problem. Players naturally rely on their strengths. Let's say if you have a weak backhand, you might spend your entire match running around it. If you struggle to take the shuttle early, you might just keep playing safely from the back. So matches actually expose your weaknesses, but they don't automatically fix them. That's why you have to combine matches with optimized, targeted training. You have to use matches to discover the problem. Then you have to use the drills and conditioned games to solve it. So competitive match play still deserves S tier, because everything eventually has to transfer back into the game. Next up, exhaustive training, or one could say generic circuit training. This is the classic badminton fitness sessions that all these old era coaches do. Push-ups, mountain climbers, jumping jacks, random lunges, all this tip tapping, then just running, random shadow footwork with work times ranging from 30 seconds to even a few minutes. It's random. The resting times, it's all random. And then you have to repeat it until nobody can breathe. It's so difficult. But what are we actually developing? Is it maximum speed that would actually move the needle? No, because you're exhausted. Is it strength? Probably not, because you don't have enough resistance. Is it technique? No. Decision making? No. It's this third gear training. It creates fatigue, but it doesn't create any useful adaptation to this new era of badminton. And every training session, you should have a clear goal. All these random exercises combined into shuffling are not automatically athletic development. So generic circuit training goes into E tier. You have a hard workout, but no direction at all. You're just training until complete exhaustion. And this might be the biggest problem in nowadays badminton training. And nobody, it's crazy. I made so many videos about this, and people are just raging in the comments. And players, they think the quality of a session can be measured how destroyed they felt afterwards. Then it must have worked. And you have to realize this, that when you are very fatigued, your movement changes for the worse. Your posture collapses. Your timing becomes worse. You get these bad muscle memory things. Your landings become sloppy. Or suddenly your ankle twisted. And also your tactical decisions slow down. So if you repeat terrible movement often enough, your body learns the terrible movement, I'll tell you. And of course, badminton players need conditioning. And sometimes training will be extremely difficult, but exhaustion should not be the goal. It should be not the purpose of every session. Tired is not the enemy. Tired is the enemy. It's not the goal. Training until complete exhaustion every session goes directly to F tier, I'll tell you. So, that's the final tier list. And when you look at the top methods, there's a clear pattern. The best badminton training includes decisions, variability, speed, immediate feedback, and realistic or even more pressure than normally. And the lowest ranked methods usually remove those things and replace them with predictable movements or meaningless fatigue. That doesn't mean that every drill below S tier is completely useless, not at all. It means that you need to understand what the method actually develops. You have to have this correct and optimal progressions. You have to understand what are they developing. Agility ladders can warm you up, warm your nervous system up, and shadow footwork can improve movement patterns, and you can have shadow footwork as speed trainings. And repetition drills can help you build this comfortable touch before competitions without fatiguing yourself. But those methods should eventually lead back to realistic badminton. So in your next training sessions, start by removing the lowest transfer trainings, bodybuilding, exhaustive training, and replace it with small-sided games, reactive footwork, this freestyle multi-shuttle. And please do this today and you will feel difference immediately. And every time you choose a training method, ask yourself one question. Is this making me better at badminton? Or is it only making me better at the drill? See you very soon. Thank you.